everybody, and welcome to Arsenal X, the Xbox podcast at Boss Rush Games. I am your host, Jesse Douglas, and I am here with Eddie V. How's it going?
I'm ready to have an excellent time.
Yeah, we've got, I was looking through the news and stuff, and I know the thing is there's been a lot of stuff that's been talked about already, like on other things and stuff that's kind of just been in the news, quite a bit lately, which, I just gotta say, I give props to Xbox. They didn't have any show showing off games or talking about anything, and they've just nonstop. They've been in the news and constantly at the front of people talking about stuff that's going on. There's just, they haven't showed us any games, but there's so many things that they're doing in the background that's kind of getting, a light shined on, that they've really just been dominating the news lately and just kind of been the talk. And so I think I found some interesting things that as we get closer here, to the kind of the middle of the year or whatever you want to call it. There's a good list of games that we know that are coming out, and all that stuff. So yeah, there's just looking through, there was a whole bunch of stuff that was in the news to talk about, to the point of where I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make a thing that I'm gonna call extra content. And it will just be things that I'm going to talk about at the end of the show here, just to kind of rattle off just little things that I want people to check out. And I think I'll do this if we get to a point where there's a lot of stuff, that's happening, but it's not necessarily something that we can have a full-on conversation about.
Yeah.
That's more of just things I want you, the listeners, to just, kind of at your own leisure or your own interest, go check out, but there'll be something that will be, I feel like, are important enough to just at least mention it, so yeah, that may be a part of the show moving forward. Again, if we run into something where there's a kind of a bunch of things that I feel like we could talk about, but I still want to get stuff out there. So yeah, but so we'll go with the what you've been playing, Ed. We'll get to that right away.
So I've been playing a lot of more Switch stuff than Xbox. I will get to Xbox stuff this week.
That's fine.
The fact I'm doing a lot of stuff on Switch is that I'm getting ready stuff for the kind of for April and May. What I've been playing though is Roots Film. This is by Cube Public Games. I think that's the name of the developer. I'm going to do a review for this. It just came out, so it is a brand new game. It's like a detective game where you got to find out what's going on this film set. It's really good. Star Ocean, First Departure R, this game called Roomverse. A lot of RPGs I've been playing. Apex Legend, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, Mega Man 11. That's kind of the stuff that I've been playing on Switch. I talked a little bit about Apex Legends, which is fine on Switch if you guys want to give it a. I know people are waiting for patches and stuff for it. But I think I'm going to, for Xbox, I think I'm gonna jump back into Cyberpunk 2077. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and just people talking about it, and I know there's a new patch that's supposed to be coming sometime down the line. And I'm just like, you know what? I think I need to just dive back into this game, do some side quests, and just finish the game and see what it's all about and stuff. Because like Doom Eternal is not hitting it anymore. Like,
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna jump back into Ori 2 also because I'm at the spider boss, so I'm close to the end of the game. So
Oh, okay.
I just need to push on and finish it. And I've been looking at a lot of my Xbox One games. I'm just like, you know what? Let me pop these games and dedicate some time to it and play because I've been playing so much PS4 and Switch that I kind of
Mhm.
been ignoring Xbox. But it was a time that I was ignoring Switch and my PS4 and literally digging into Xbox.
Mhm.
It was just a bro. I guess I'm strange that way sometimes when I jump around with
No,
games.
I mean it makes sense. Like you want to, use and give love to all the consoles
Hmm.
that you own at some point.
Yeah.
So, like if you're digging into Xbox games and for a long period of time, and then you want to go on your Switch for a while, and it makes sense. I mean, like, like I've said before, I'm glad that my kids use my Switch and stuff
Hmm.
because, like, right now I do go on it occasionally, but I just for me, it's more about the convenience if I'm like going somewhere, like a kids have class or something, and they're, like I'm just having to sit and wait for them to finish what they're doing or whatever, like a dance class or swimming class or
Hmm.
whatever at the Y, then I can just go and I can play that on that and bring it with me. It works. I just don't have many with COVID. Like there's been less of those kind of situations like
Situations.
that.
Yeah.
So I'm either usually home or at work.
And
So it's
and I and Jesse, you might get on me, and people might actually get on me. I kind of don't want to use my Series X whenever I get one, or my PS5 whenever I get one. I don't want to use them for backwards compatibility, and it's
mhm,
not because of the boost stuff or anything. I think it's because I've owned these games for a while. I own the system that I want to play them on, and while I wait to get a Series X and stuff, I could
mhm,
just play it right now, get the experience, write it, be able to discuss it, and then when I do get those systems,
mhm.
when more new games roll out, because I want to play the medium on Series X. I want to play um what that Belco game or even Tales of Arise, like if that comes to Series X. I want to play Miles
Oh
Morales on
yeah,
PS5. Like I want to play the current gen stuff, like
like
the
life
new
is
stuff. Like yeah,
yeah,
like the life. Well,
life is strange.
yeah,
I mean,
if
you can technically play that on Xbox
as
One, but I
yeah,
think so.
but if I have if I'm able to pay the $70 or whatever for those new versions, like with the Series X,
Well,
I
most of
want to.
that stuff is free. Most of that stuff is a free upgrade on the
Yeah,
Xbox. That's what's been nice is like,
the
yeah, if
smart
you want
delivery
those
stuff.
better,
Yeah.
yeah, that better stuff. And like, like now they're boosting a lot of games to running at, like at
Mhm.
high frame rates and things that they aren't able to were never able to run at and stuff
Yeah.
like that too.
and and
So
and I think it's a memory kind of thing. And
yeah.
like I said, it's more of a personal thing to me than anything else. Like even when I had my Wii U and everything, I
Mhm.
really even with the Wii, I wasn't playing a lot of my GameCube and I wasn't playing a lot of my Wii games on my next gen stuff. I literally was playing the new stuff and the indie stuff there. So I kind of I think it's just a me thing that I have these consoles, I have the games, I just want to play them there, get the experience, and go on and stuff. If I feel like that I need to go back and do it, then I will. Now I will say with Xbox Live games with Go and stuff, with the smart delivery doing it on Series X, I'm fine with that. I'll play it that way because it's all digital. It just transfer over, it sees it, updates it, and bam, I could go.
Yeah.
I'm cool. That I'm cool with. But everything else that
Mhm.
I own, I'm like, shoot, I'll just play on original stuff because I'm not gonna get rid of my systems. I I invested too much in it, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, like I think it's different. Like if there's like for me, like I can't spend the kind of money that I used to, like
Hmm.
buying new games like all the time, because there's been a lot of new games that have come out, but I've just, I've kind of had to just cut it
Budget.
back a little bit. And so like, Game Pass for me is a game saver because like I still have plenty of stuff to play
Yes.
that way. Yeah, not all of it's going to be brand new, but I'm still a lot of it I'm getting to experience for the first
First
time.
time. Yeah.
Like for me, like I don't do you have anything more that you need to
Oh
talk
no,
about as
no,
okay.
no. That's
Okay,
pretty
cuz
much it.
yeah, cuz for me, I've never played Skyrim, or as I call it, Scrim.
Yeah.
I just used to call it
And
Scrim. Yeah.
I played it. I played Skyrim on PS3, the PS3 version. I
Okay.
know it's not good, but it's just
Yeah.
like it's not my cup of tea because
Yeah.
I think something about it was not clicking to me for it, and it was just like I'm not
Yeah,
feeling
I mean
this.
that, like you said, I mean that was like the worst, like one of the worst ways to experience that game was on PlayStation.
Yeah,
It had been known for running just, any of those games just did not want to run on PlayStation consoles for whatever reason.
but you know what? I think it's just the Elder Scrolls just does nothing for me.
Yeah.
I
I
and
mean, that's the thing is like, cause I've definitely, I'm not into that fantasy stuff as much anymore, but like Elder Scrolls has always really been the only one that has really attracted me. Like I've never got into like the Dragon Age games, and I've never really got into and I've tried multiple times. I literally own every single one of them, but I just never could get into Dark Souls. Like for whatever reason, the Elder Scrolls games have been really the only games like that in
mhm.
that genre of game that for whatever reason like have interested me and kind of like broke that like barrier of it just, I can't even explain it why for whatever reason that one just happened to interest me. Like I
You
think it's
know,
maybe the world, maybe because like I don't know,
I
I don't
think
know what
it's
it is.
I think it's because
The story, maybe.
you know what? I think it's because JRPGs don't do it for you, and these American RPGs does.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
vice versa for me, where some certain American RPGs
yeah,
don't do it for me, but JRPGs do. And I
yeah,
think it's because how we played RPGs growing up, what we got
yeah,
accustomed to and everything. Um
yeah.
because I know you said like I think you don't like the 3D Zeldas or you kind of respect them, but you like the top down ones. I
No,
think
I love 3D Zeldas, but I do not like the top down
the top
ones.
downs. Okay.
I think part of that too is goes back to like I've said, a couple of times on the show. Like anytime that I've played video games for the
Hmm.
most part, I mean, obviously I did play, like games by myself, like when I had them, throughout my life, when I'm home by myself or whatever, I don't have friends over, I would play games, but I've always been more of a social gamer. So like the idea of sitting down and playing something like an RPG or something while I'm at a friend's house, that would be super boring, because it's just
Hmm.
someone sitting and watching someone else play, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, like I was used to playing Mario, like or playing like sports games or playing things where we could either both be playing or handing it back and forth. Like honestly the only game that I can think of like that was a solely a one player game that I
Hmm.
ever played multiplayer technically with would be um when Breath of the Wild came out, and my friend Pat had a Switch and I didn't yet, but he would bring it over and then he would play for a little while and then hand it off to me and I would continue on his character and play and do stuff and play for a little while and we would hand it back and forth. But I mean, that's a rarity that you have something that's interesting enough
Yeah.
that you're fine with sitting and watching someone else play for a little while.
And I think
You
for
know,
me, like doing single player games and definitely with RPGs and stuff, is that when it came to doing social and co-op games, it
mhm.
was more at the arcade than it was at
Yeah,
home. And I would
yeah,
play games as a young kid with my brother because that's
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
only that's the only person I really could play games with. But I
yeah,
think it was just like growing up playing all of these systems and being into video games is that I would play all of these like campaigns and single player stuff. And if things didn't feel like it was an arcade experience for me, because I grew up in, like I said, I grew up playing the co-op stuff with random people in arcades. It's a different feeling doing it at home and everything. Like,
yeah.
uh, I so the day that we're recording this, earlier I went to Galloping Ghost, and
Oh,
when you,
nice.
Jesse, when you come down, I'm taking you to Galloping
Yeah,
Ghost.
yeah. I wanted to. We had plans on trying to go when I visited during me and my wife's
Mhm.
anniversary. We had went to Illinois or to Illinois. Mostly Chicago area, but
Yeah,
we went there and just me and my wife and we were gonna try to go and do that, but we kind of ran out of time, which is fine. I mean, like I was having too much fun going to like different pizza places in the area and trying different,
yes.
and then we spent a lot of time at the Shed Aquarium
Hmm.
and all those things that were a little bit more important because I know very well, yeah, I'm sure my wife would find things to do at that arcade, but it's not something that she would enjoy as much as I would. And
Yeah,
so I would, since we're doing it for our anniversary, I'd, rather be
do
doing
something.
things anyways that I know that we'll both enjoy,
Yeah.
as much. But
Well, yeah, well, we got this now because I haven't been there for years, like a year and a half or two
yeah.
years. They expanded, so it's like
Oh, okay.
almost half of the block. Dude, we
Yeah.
was playing
Nice.
Darius EX,
Yeah.
where it's like two screens with four players, like four
Hmm.
players shooting them up. We was
Hmm.
playing Ikaruga, like we was playing a whole bunch of games that I was just like, oh wow, this is the social interaction that I miss. And there were
Yeah.
like arcade games that I've never heard of that they imported from Japan and got the original arcade cabinet. And now my friend just told me that they're trying to buy more space because when I originally went, it wasn't that big. Dude,
Yeah.
they almost got 100 plus some arcades. Like I'm like, wow. And I guess that's the social area when it
Yeah.
comes to video games that I was playing. But
Yeah. All
back to
all
oh,
thing.
sorry.
Yeah. All things that you know that used to be very prevalent until
Mhm.
your GameStops and your Blockbusters and your like big big companies like that came along and killed all the mom and pop things. Because yeah, we used to have this amazing video game store called TriStar Games, and that was for a while there when N64 and the like a lot of those systems during that time,
Mhm.
like when those came out, that place was still open, and I would always go there and buy like used consoles or sell my consoles there. But he also had the whole upstairs was mostly like the games and stuff, and then he had one of those old school 3D or VR
Yeah.
things where you stood in that big circular metal thing and
Yes.
like you put the things on and like and it was just really bulky and just massive and costs like I think like $15,000 for one of them or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so he had that and a few things upstairs, but then you went down in the basement area or the downstairs area and it was just a whole bunch of arcades, and it just smelled like BO because people would be down there for hours, and like it was just, yeah, it was an experience. And then, like, I mean, we still have some, things like around here that have arcades, and now we have like the barcades that are making a comeback and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it used to be that, like, everywhere you went, like, um be it bowling alleys or some stores, like, even just like Shopko's and like stores like like Kmart, and they would always have at least a couple of arcades like at every store you went to, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, like what you see now, where it's like, like maybe just a little thing that kids can ride on, for 25 cents or whatever. Like they had legit just arcade games, at every store you went to almost. And now, yeah, like all those mom and pop stores closed down because they couldn't compete, with all these big, like GameStops and
The chain stores.
yeah, and the big chain stores. But yeah, I mean, that could be a whole nother topic. But yeah, so I just was gonna say that, yeah, I started playing Skyrim and
Yeah.
before we started the podcast, because I found out like that the Xbox version now supports that the special edition or whatever one that they added to Game Pass. Yeah, it supports mods. And so there's a mod out right now, and for the time being, like some of those games are going to get updates by Xbox and Bethesda themselves to support like 120 frames per second.
Mm-hmm.
But for right now, though, there's a fan made mod that allows you to get unlock the frames per second. So when you're playing on Series X and S, you can play it at a higher frame rate and stuff like that, just for now. And then, but there's like a whole bunch of mods for like updated textures and stuff to make the textures in the game look better, and all these, crazy mods. So like I haven't done anything with mods since probably Unreal Tournament on PC, like around the time when that was like new. So it's been a long time since I've used a mod. So I mean, I was gonna try that out, but I was just playing the regular game, and I created my character and started it because that's the only one I think that I haven't really played at all. So yeah, I started that up. I'm like, now I got it, so I might as well give it a shot, because again, those are like, I love the Skyrim games. So like I when Skyrim Elder Scrolls Online came out, I used to spend hours and hours and hours on that game every single day. And then life kind of changed, and eventually had kids and stuff like that, so that all kind of ended. But because Elder Scrolls Online, I think, came out maybe like a little, maybe it was less than
2016.
Yeah, it was. Well, no, it was later than that, I thought.
Because Toys was still, because Toys was still open. I was still open at Toys, selling it on consoles for Xbox. I don't think it came to PS4. I'm not sure, but it may have. But I know there was I know there was an online one for Xbox, and then they released a special edition and everything, because they was talking about it when we was watching it on you and Corey was watching it on Bethesda's E3 and stuff.
No, I was like, it had to 2014 came out.
14, okay.
Yeah.
Then I think, does this tell when the special edition came out? Maybe 15 or 16 was the special edition, or like
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I'm not really sure. It doesn't really say, but like
Okay.
I just remember that it was like it came out at a time where like I had a kid and I couldn't really I only had like only had a little bit of time before my kid was old enough that I couldn't be spending time like that and having naps and stuff like that where like where he would take long enough naps where I could put any you know kind of decent amount of time into it.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was yeah, it was one of those games that like I had put a big chunk of time into whenever I could. And um but yeah, it just like hooked me right away. I actually my one of my cousins was like, should I get an Xbox or should I get a PlayStation, at the time,
Hmm.
because he really wanted to get this game. And like none of his friends or whatever that like they all had PlayStations, but I don't think they really were playing that game or something. And so like I told him like, well, I have an Xbox. I'm like, if you get a Xbox, I'll play with you because I know that I was going to be playing it as well.
Yeah.
So then he did, and we had played a couple of times, but then unfortunately it got to the point of where I just couldn't go on a whole lot. And so I was like, oh dude, I'm sorry to just kind of leave you hanging now, but like I just couldn't dedicate the time to it anymore. But so yeah, so I've been playing that, the Skyrim, and kind of gonna see how this whole mod stuff works and see what that's like. So I'll
And
probably have more to talk about it next week.
and not yeah, because I think a lot of people have been jumping to, and I think we'll talk about it a little bit. Bethesda's games finally coming to Game Pass. A lot of people have been
Yeah,
playing a lot of their stuff on Game Pass, so that's good.
yeah. So all right, well, yeah, that's pretty much it for what I've been playing. I mean, there's some other stuff, but well, we've kind of been talking here quite a bit, so we'll kind of get into the news here. So
Yes.
all right, so yeah, one of the things and this was kind of in the conversation last week already, but I thought I'd bring it up, that Xbox is doing some changing of some stuff to stop suspended games kind of in the background so they could get that downloading speeds on the console a little bit better for when people
Hmm.
are downloading games and stuff, because they found out that some of that stuff happening in the background was affecting it a little bit. So that's good. I know there's some people that were like, oh well, already thought the downloading was better than last gen anyways, but hey, if you're gonna make it even better, go for it. But so yeah,
Yeah.
that could have honestly been in my extra stuff, but you
Yeah,
know,
and yeah, I think this is really beneficial. I think this is more. I believe. Okay, so the story does come from Eurogamer. Says the option is appearing now on Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One consoles for those signed up to Xbox Insider Program, which unlocks new dashboard features early. So it is in
yeah,
pre-production.
yeah,
Hopefully that it does release. Because the thing about it is that the downloading, even, and this have even happened for PlayStation, the downloading was so slow. Even when you weren't playing games or
yeah,
anything wasn't running, the
yeah,
download was always slow. And I know people just like, well, put an Ethernet cord in. Well, you did put an Ethernet cord in, and it's still downloading
yeah.
slow. So
Well,
I
like
think,
I have an issue right now where I cannot for the life of me. I've tried like 50 different websites trying to figure out what is going on, but for whatever reason, when I try to download games and stuff or
mhm.
anything on my PC or on my laptop, like I'm lucky if I get like 10 megabytes per second of download speed.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm paying for 100 megabytes per second. Why am I not at least getting like 60 or 70, megabytes per second? Or usually when I would download stuff, I would get 100, get the full what I'm paying for, or sometimes it would go over the amount that I'm paying for.
Yeah. And I
But
think
for
that
whatever reason, I don't know if it's still COVID related things where because remember there was talk about a lot of stuff being throttled
so yeah.
the internet because of COVID, because so many people are using it, like way more now,
Mhm.
and in all hours of the day. So I don't know if it's maybe something to do with my actual provider. I don't
And
know.
and I and I
Just
know for
weird.
me and I know for me, like when I have patches and things like that, even if I buy a game and stuff, I'm just like, okay, automatically download. And I keep thinking to myself, if I cut my system off, it should still download. Cause like
Yeah,
on my Switch it does it. Like I could
yeah,
buy a game, and even though Switch is like is not that powerful, and the megabit or the gigabytes is not that big and stuff, I could cut my Switch off and wait maybe 30 or 35 minutes, and then it's already downloaded, like it's
yeah,
already there. And
yeah,
I kind of realize, and I know they talked about, when you do buy a game and it does the early download stuff and
yeah,
everything with the patches and everything, all you got to do is wait till the day is released, and then they'll do the final part of it.
yeah,
I kind of wonder if with this, like with this download thing that they're doing, with like suspending that and it be in the background to download faster, I wonder, will that also happen when you cut your system off? Like you buy a game or something, or downloading something for Game Pass, and you like,
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna definitely, go get some dinner or something, and you cut your
Mhm.
system off and let it just automatically download. Hopefully
I
that happens.
I think technically when you cut your system off, it technically does that already, because the console is technically not on.
Hmm.
Like it's not having to do anything outside of just like monitoring or keeping, like you said, if you're downloading something, it will continue to download when it's turned off. And I think you can actually already get it downloading at better speeds when you turn it off, because
Yeah.
I think it's doing what they're gonna try to do even when the console's on, where it's prioritizing and it's only running the downloading and not doing anything else
Anything.
outside of it. I
Yeah.
think that's technically what it does when you turn it off. I could be wrong. I
Cause the
don't know that for a fact, but I feel like that's something that it would do, because why would it need to be doing anything else in the background if it's shut off, you know?
Yeah, cause Mass Effect Legacy Edition, China down.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna do all three games, but like of course PS3 was like, I don't know how it was on 360, but PS3 took me like 6 hours and overnight to get all three games on my system. So
Yeah.
hopefully with this suspend thing and this downloading thing, when if people who buying the game in May when it comes out digitally, I hope there is no problem with it and that it does have that faster speed to download. I would love to see this like arriving in May, like leaving the
Yeah.
insider program and just hitting all consoles, all Xbox platforms at the same time. Be like, okay, everything is in everything is now, you guys could be able to use it, bam, and go ahead. Because
Yeah.
like I plan on buying the Legacy Collection on Xbox One, and I
Mhm.
just hope that it doesn't become a problem downloading that game, because three whole games, and definitely with all those textures and that updated first version of the first game, like I'm ready for it, I'm preparing myself for it, but I'm just like, I hope it don't take forever to download, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see here. But okay, the next thing, I thought this was really interesting. So, Rockstar officially implementing fan-made fix that massively reduces GTA Online load times. I I picked this because I just think that that's really cool. Like I feel like this kind of stuff is happening more, where where like creators of games, like, you have these fans like fixing things,
Mm-hmm.
and and just going in and kind of like doing their thing, and like, and these companies that make the games just kind of being cool about it, and like, just being like, making it known that, someone else did it, and instead of like just being upset that they're messing with their game, just being like, you know what, that's cool, we're actually going to look at what you did here, and learn from what you did, and actually implement that into our game. I just think it's really cool when a game like this will take the community's feedback, and just kind of go with it, and be cool about it, because they could easily get all upset that they're messing around with their game or whatever, but I just think it's kind of cool.
You think about it, like this takes a workload off of
Yeah,
Rockstar
yeah,
themselves, and
yeah,
look at Sega. Well, not Sega, but look at the guy who fixed Alien Colonial Marines on PC. He changed one digit, and the game was fixed. Like, it's really cool when fans can do this. Like, it really
yeah,
shows that they may have an engineer job and they may not be in this actual industry, but it's really cool to see that fans could really make other like these big developers games better.
well,
And this is
and
and yeah, and this
yeah,
is this is not content or anything. This is just actual technical stuff, and that's
yeah,
cool. We don't get that much news or recognition that people can really fix a lot of people's games.
yeah,
That if the companies are trying to figure it out, and the fan can figure it out, A, that's an opportunity to give that person a job. B,
yeah.
that's something that's going to make the community really thankful and grateful that this work has been done. So now they could continue to enjoy the game.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to like what I was talking about, like with Bethesda really,
Hmm.
like just letting their fans make mods, and then, now they're literally went to the length of creating a whole part of their website where these fan made mods, you can go on there and officially download them from the Bethesda website and play them on, use them on the console versions, even of games. And it's just like that's something that we never would have expected to ever be
Is
allowed to be done on
exactly,
console. you know
exactly.
and and yeah, and it says like Rockstar literally, like they posted, they said, thanks to Toast this for his contributions around this part of today's title update. And so like they like literally gave him props
Hmm.
by name, or or at least by what he's known as on the internet. And like
And
it's cool.
that is literally a job opportunity. Even though this doesn't have anything to do kind of with the story, um, the person who made AM2R, he ended up working at Moon Studios. Like he was able to get snagged up from Moon Studios and make Ori the Blind Forest, and that's
Yeah,
cool. It's like
yeah,
even when there is a situation that seems like it's a downfall, it could really be something a little bit better in the future because people could realize your work and you could get hired that way,
yeah,
and get into the industry. And I think Toast probably will have a chance. But if I was Bethesda and Microsoft, I would kind of definitely, with this acquisition happening, I need to knock on their door and like knock on his door and be like, hey, this
yeah.
is a cool thing. You think of joining us? We'll move you, we'll set you up and things like that, and we want to offer you a job and stuff.
Well,
And
that
that
yeah,
might
that's
happen.
if Rockstar doesn't first. I
Oh,
mean, he's
Rockstar.
like,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. I'm thinking of
yeah,
Bethesda.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, they Rockstar even gave him a $10,000 bounty like $10,000 in-game like bounty cash, I guess. And
Mhm.
um, let's see, and it says um, yeah, there was something else here that I was looking at, but oh, okay, yeah. So he sped the load times up to 70% quicker. That's insane.
Exactly.
Holy cow,
Exactly.
70%. Like that I mean that's like
Cartridge level.
yeah. So yeah, it sped it up from the load time used to be about 6 minutes to 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Dang.
So
This
yeah, I
is
mean that's a quite a dramatic amount of time when you consider load screens. But
yes.
yeah, so yeah, I just thought that was really cool, and it's just like I said, cool to see these companies like like not afraid to collaborate with people from the community and
Hmm.
stuff like this and give people props for doing something that essentially yeah is making their game better. So and then so the next thing is, and this is just kind of a little thing, but like like as we get closer and closer to Halo Infinite coming out, there
Yes.
was some like a lot of people kind of paying attention to this, and I believe there was an inner yeah there was a Q&A with the director Troy Mashburn, and players were or people were asking him about stuff about the game and all that, and one of the fans or whatever had asked him if is it possible to actually knock things characters or enemies or whatever off the ring, because essentially the whole game is taking place on the Halo ring, and there is an edge to it, like it just goes from you're on the ring, or that's the edge of the ring, and it just falling into nothing. And he talks about a time that he was actually fighting, and I think he was in the Warthog, I think he said, and he was fighting one of the tanks, the alien versions of the tanks. I can't remember what the name of that tank is right now, but he was fighting them, and he had knocked the uh the tank off the edge. So yeah, he said, this is a quote from him: "I can tell you, just recently I was playing, and I happened to be driving." Oh, he was in the Scorpion tank, "and I came around the corner, and I was face to face with the Wraith. Just out of pure luck, pure coincidence, I managed to push the Wraith over the edge and just watch it slowly tilt back and fall into the abyss, which was amazing, unexpected, and it was just such a cool moment that happened just by luck, that I managed to come around in a different way and catch them off guard." So yeah, it's cool. I just like I can see this kind of stuff moving forward. Like I think this is something that brings like the open world stuff, in
Hmm.
my opinion. Like I know some people get sick of like everything being an open world, but the reason why I've always loved open world games is for these kinds of purposes. There's always fun to be had that is not planned. It's not like it's just not something, sometimes that you can do that just anyone's gonna think of. Like I mean, there's like I've always said, like when I go and I play Far Cry 5, like some of my favorite times of playing that game were just doing goofy fun things, or
Hmm.
like there was a time where I was in the boat and I had hit something and I went flying, and so I'm flying through the air in this boat, like literally airborne, and I bounced off of like a part of the island and then went into the water again and then continued, and then I did the same thing, but like when I flew, I landed right on some guys, some enemies, and I killed them. And I had like when I went through off the ramp, I had like literally the bottom of the boat had hit a guy's head as I was flying over the top of him, and like I was just laughing my ass off because it was just a hilarious moment. That like it was just one of those moments like where you had to just be there and see it. And like those kind of opportunities, you know don't don't always have you know don't always have a chance to happen when you start making games too linear.
Hmm.
And I think like it's very possible that we can see like people sharing clips of these great, funny, and amazing moments that just wouldn't wouldn't be as prevalent if this wasn't as open of a world as it's going to be. Like I think that the whole open world aspect of Halo is gonna really benefit it. You know, I think it's hard to imagine what it would be like right now because we haven't really experienced it fully, but
Hmm.
I really do think that it's gonna be something that we're gonna be kind of like I was when Gears 5 came out and it was a little bit more open. Now, mind you, I think Halo is gonna be a little bit more interactive in the open world than Gears 5 was, but just even just that time of traveling from one place to another in Gears 5, it felt kind of nice to just have a relaxing, like, you know, drive through this world and kind of see it, see parts of the world that maybe we didn't really see as much of in the other games because
Hmm.
it was so linear. And I just think this is going to benefit from that,
Yeah,
things like this.
I think it's gonna be a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
People doing like edits and recording the
Mhm.
stuff and adding the Benny Hill music, for example.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be some good comedy. But I think this is a cool little thing for people who want to do it. Um, and see how it's gonna look and everything. So I think yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. All right, and then the next one was I kind of left the bigger one for last. But I kind of want to take this moment to again just tell people that like if you're not subscribed to either the Xbox YouTube page or the ID at Xbox YouTube page, that I definitely suggest you do, because they're like every week there's tons of videos, like literally their YouTube pages are just an unlimited flow of videos constantly being uploaded of like trailers of new games, new indie games, and new updates to games that have already been announced, and new things from Xbox, or new things from these companies that they're helping promote their indie games, and
Hmm.
all that stuff. And so that's what the ID, like the this week on Xbox, if you watch that, like those always will be basically a really quick glance and compilation of all the stuff that was released and talked about that week. And so Xbox wants to try to step up that acknowledgement of these indie games and stuff that they're constantly trying to get out there. And so now they're actually gonna team ID at Xbox is going to actually on March 26th, they're going to be teaming up with Twitch to basically bring like their version of, I'm guessing, of like the Nindy showcase, where it's just going to be
the indie world, yeah.
Indie stuff. And so yeah, that will be on March 26th at noon Eastern time.
Yeah, Drinkbox is going to be announcing their new game. So this is going to be the first exclusive showing of it. They said this is something that they've never done before. So if I'm interested to see what they're going to bring. I will say, and I think me and you've been talking about Xbox really need to recognize indies. This is a good way for them. And I know I've been talking about Microsoft got to show something that people want to look forward to. And because indies are so strong on on a lot of platforms today, with this indie with this ID at Xbox being shown this Friday, it's going to be a good thing because we might see some indie games that's been on Xbox, but it might be on sale. Some new games that are coming. Some games that's probably been announced on other platforms, but also hitting Xbox. And then we could probably see what indie games are coming to Game Pass day and date. We'll be able to see that.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, like why it's so important for them to do this is like honestly every week it feels like every week a new indie game that's literally brand new just came out is getting added to Game Pass. And like Game Pass is a really good place for indie games. Like there's a lot of amazing indie games on Game Pass. There's like at least 3, I think, on there right now that like literally the game just came out and went day and date to Game Pass. I actually downloaded a couple of them. There's one that's a really, really cool, interesting. It's like a mafia type one where it's played it's like the what's it called? But it's the kind where you have your characters and then you kind of have like you can move each character, like a tactics game.
Not the George Romero one.
There's a brand new one that just came out that got put on Game Pass the day of release.
Then it has to be that George Romero game.
Yeah. It was called like Empire, or is it?
Something like that, yeah.
Empire of Sin?
I think so.
Yeah, maybe it was Empire. But yeah, like I mean there's that. There's another new like retro style game that came out that just came out and it was day and date on Game Pass. But like it feels like every week.
Yeah, it's Empire of Sin. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that was day and date. Like first, like the second it was released, it was on Game Pass instantly. And they've got a whole list of games that are coming soon to Game Pass within these next couple of weeks that are all brand new games that are literally the reason they're coming to Game Pass that day is because they're just getting released, like fully. And so indie games is has a big place right now in Game Pass.
Well, I think the thing about it is that Microsoft has seen, and sorry to bring Nintendo back up, but they have seen that Nintendo has been having a lot of success for indies and stuff.
Yeah.
So if they can recoup that success, hey, we could get more subscribers to our game service with Game Pass by putting these indies out. If not, we could draw people into our ecosystem to purchase that game onto our system, onto it, and then if they get a Series X or a PC, they could get the smart delivery and get it upgraded and play it better. Or even if Microsoft does the publishing for some of these indies, you have the Play Anywhere initiative. So if I buy that game digitally and I want to play it on my PC, I could play it on my PC, do Windows 10. Like Microsoft really could do a lot with this. And so seeing this idea at Xbox and seeing what they're going to offer, it should be, no one should be coming away from this thing disappointed. It shouldn't be a bad showing. Everybody should, even if you don't like it, take notice of it. Be like, you know what, Microsoft is at least doing something with indies like everybody else is, and that's a good step for them to make.
Yeah, and I think they know and they listen. Like Phil Spencer listens to a lot of the big, podcasts that talk about Xbox. Like we know he listens to, like Unlocked, and we know he listens to like, the bigger, well-known gaming podcasts, and like it's been something that's been talked about for a long time, is that people want Summer of Arcade, to come back, where, like in 360 era, like that was a massive thing, is like they put all summer, they put indie games basically front and center over all everything. Like it didn't matter what AAA game was coming out. If you wanted to get people out and get the word out that those AAA games were coming out, well, then you as the company who made it, you can spend that money. And Microsoft basically said, we want to help the little guys who are making these indie games and help them get recognition.
They were the leading company for indie games. It was the summer of something for 360.
Yeah, Summer of
Arcade. Yeah, and Microsoft was the leading. What's the leader in that? I always go back and talk about Flash games being kind of the beta of indie games. But to see that Microsoft was giving these indie developers a chance to put their games out, and the classes and the recognition that they got, like Nintendo and Sony wouldn't be having the indie hit without Microsoft. I can honestly say that if it wasn't because of Microsoft doing this stuff for indie games, those systems wouldn't have the hits that they have on their platform without Microsoft and making the indie big.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is Nintendo, especially. I mean, they really, I think we're paying attention to how that was going with the indie stuff, and they've done a really good job of having their indie showcases and really putting those indie games front and center, and not drowning them out with AAA games that are already getting a lot of money put into advertisement, and they don't need it nearly as much, and so I'm kind of, that makes me wonder, is this going to be a possible thing we see more often moving forward, where ID at Xbox just like has an ongoing team up with Twitch, and they use that platform to try to do what the Summer of Arcade stuff did. I could see them doing that,
as long as Microsoft promotes it. Really talk about it on social media. Be like, hey, we're showing this on this day at this time, or on our YouTube channel. Come check it out. Like, they gotta continuously promote that, because if they don't, then people are just gonna be like, this. They're gonna feel like it's a one-time thing, and then we won't see more of it into E3 or whatever. So Microsoft just really got to promote it in a way, like I said, on social media, by making it so obvious and so aware that people will be like, hey, I really want to check this out, so that people can start talking about it and watching it.
And I think them teaming up with Twitch is a good idea because there are a lot of people, content creators on Twitch that, have people's attention, and if, like that's something that's an event that's
Mm-hmm.
happening, solely on Twitch. Well, that gives that gives Twitch the opportunity as well to kind of get it out on their social media as well. And then, hopefully content creators that are using Twitch will talk about it. And, and obviously Microsoft will, and stuff, they do announce that stuff and try to push it on social media as well. But I think they realized though that Twitch, like, or I mean, Twitter alone isn't going to do it. And so, like, kind of by getting some of this stuff out in the news and all that kind of stuff, that they hope, that more Xbox or podcasts and stuff talk about it and kind of get it out to more people that this is happening as well. Because it's, you can't just, like, that's the thing, is now it's like there's little pockets, pockets of people who still only use Facebook but they don't use Twitter, or there's people who only use Twitter but they don't use Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and there's people who only use this and this, and so they've got to, kind of try to figure that out, of how they can get to as many of those little pockets of networks that they possibly can. And I think teaming up with Twitch is kind of a good, it's a good way of hopefully getting into the topics of being, part of something that's going to be on Twitch, because I feel like events and stuff usually do pretty well on Twitch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm really excited because, like this, it's, I mean, don't get me wrong, Xbox has done shows where they do try to focus on indie games, mostly, but I think this is the first time where they've, like, literally just, said, we're gonna try to make this an event type thing where we're gonna team up with someone else to really try to get this out there. So I'm hoping that goes well for them, and the games that are being shown and stuff. I really hope it helps get the word out on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So all right, yeah. So I'm gonna just kind of run through these then pretty quick because we've already been going a good chunk of time. But so this is the extra content. Um, Dishonored, the definitive edition, Skyrim special edition, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, and Prey are all going to be getting FPS boosts here on the series consoles, I believe only. I don't know, that I may be wrong. That might be also on Xbox One and stuff too.
No, to Series X.
Yeah.
X and X and S.
Yeah. So, and some of those games fall really need it because yeah, those games need it. But yeah, EA Play, this obviously was a big deal already. People have been talking about it last week. But EA Play is finally coming to PC.
Quick question about that. Is Origins gone then?
No. What it is there's gonna be like a communication between. Technically, you're gonna still have to download the Origins, I believe,
Okay.
downloader thing.
Mm-hmm.
But what it will do is, like, I think it will still show the games in the Game Pass section.
Gotcha.
But when you click on it, it will open your Origins thing, and it will download it from there, or you can go into your Origins thing, and it will probably be linked to your Game Pass Ultimate, and then it will say, like, hey, this game is free because you have, Game Pass Ultimate or whatever.
Okay.
I know there is some kind of handshake or some kind of form of communication that's going to happen. I haven't tried it personally yet. I probably will this week, and I can even give more news on that. Maybe we could talk about it next week. But yeah, all I know is it's just finally that stuff will be coming to PC, which a lot of people have been waiting for, because especially on the PC side, it's the PC side of Game Pass is, like with all these things that have been on the Xbox version, you go there and it's like a little bit of a desert there. I mean, it's not bad, but it's just like, like not having all those EA and stuff games in there. It's such a difference on Xbox, but now that's changed. So, and then Watch Dogs Legion's online mode will have cross-play, and it will be cross-play on cross platforms and generations. So that's going to be really cool. I really want to try this out, because I like that game, and I just want to see what it would be like playing with friends and stuff.
I need to return to it and finish it.
Yeah, me too. I do too, actually, because I've just kind of been trying to, like play. There's so many things that I've been wanting to play and do, and so I have new things to talk about on the shows ultimately.
Yeah,
because that's the problem, is I don't want to stick to just one thing, because I want to have things to talk about.
exactly.
Like I don't want what I've been playing to be the same game for like a whole 3 months or whatever on the show. So yeah, but that's cool. Like I was excited, that it was finally, online mode was finally coming, and yeah, so now they announced that it will be cross-platform and generation, which is always a great thing. Oh, sorry. Forza Horizon 4 is available now on Steam.
One of the best arcade racers in music games.
I wanna see it, because every time an Xbox game goes to Steam, it always stays in the top selling for like a long time. So that one, I can see that one selling major on Steam.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack is definitely worth listening to. And if you got a beef up computer, just look at the landscapes and environments. Man, they did a phenomenal job. Like it looks bonkers on Xbox One, but with the HDR and the frame rate, man, this game looks good. And I can't wait for Steam players to I hope they do have it now. Like people did buy it, and I really want to hear what they think about this game.
I'm sure they did, because I mean, like Forza has been the leader in like selling, racing type game stuff for a long time now. Like, and yeah, Horizon 4 in particular was such I think in most people's eyes, like a 10 out of 10 game. Like that game was damn near perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, everything about it was so well done. And it's just such a fun game to just drive around. Like, not even worrying about races. Sometimes it's just fun to just go on
drive
like
around.
A scenic drive, and just see how amazing that game is, and just how amazing everything looks, and the weather, and like all that stuff. Like it just. Like all the like anytime I think about Horizon or Forza games and stuff, then I can't help but now think about, like, man, I really hope that they can really figure out a way to incorporate those weather stuff and all that into the new Fable game when it comes out. Because could you imagine like that realistic of weather in like a full on like RPG type kind of game? Like, oh man, I can't wait till we get to see more about Fable, like just in general. All right, and then the next one was, and now this was one of the games that was talked about this week, going back to the ID at Xbox and then this week on Xbox. This was one of the games they kind of showed this week. And this game, Ed, if you haven't checked this out yet,
Yeah, I have never heard of it.
it looks so amazing, and it just looks like such a fun game. So you're a sugar glider.
Oh, I was going
What?
to say, yeah. Tell them what. Give them the line first,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
yeah.
So
Just give.
yeah, you're a sugar glider, which is kind of like it's like
What
they kind of look.
before you explain it, tell them what the title is first, because they don't know the title yet.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say like yeah that it's called Away, the survival series, and that's all it's called. It's just called Away, the
Okay.
survival series.
Reason why on the notes you have Sugar Glider Adventure Away. I'm just like, wait, what is this game? And I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
no, it's
Oh,
yeah, it's
okay.
yeah, it's that's this like what I posted on here is just
Oh,
what the name of the article was, but
okay.
they because they wanted to put the sugar glider because that's the animal that you play as.
Okay.
So you play as a sugar glider, and it's literally a full on survival game. So you're playing as the life of this realistic looking animal who's in its habitat, and you're having to like sneak through grass and hide in grass when predators and stuff come by, and basically like you're getting to like live out the life of a sugar glider. And now a sugar glider, like what it kind of looks like to me it kind of almost looks like if if you were to mix a flying squirrel with a skunk. Like it kind of like reminds me almost of like a skunk, but
Hmm.
but it's got the ability where it can jump, and then when it stretches its arms out, it's got a big piece of skin that attaches its front and back legs, and then it can glide through the air. And so like they show it in like in gameplay of you like jumping and gliding down into the trees and stuff, and it just this game looks phenomenal, and it just looks like such a cute and just fun game that will be I could definitely see this being a hit if it plays right and works as well as it looks like it did in the gameplay stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, if you get a chance to just again, yeah, check out Away the survival series.
Yeah, and it's coming to
Uh,
Xbox in this
yep,
year.
yep, it's coming this year. So I'm yet again another game thanks to ID at Xbox and and Xbox's YouTube page of me finding out about because I wouldn't have heard about it otherwise.
Yeah.
So because I've heard nothing about this until through
Me
them.
neither.
So yeah, so yeah, it looks really cool though. It looks like a lot of fun. All right. And then the newer game that was released and talked about, and they talked about quite a bit on the Xbox YouTube page as well, was It Takes Two. The new trailer gives an exciting peek into the magical world, and It Takes Two. I think have you seen this? It Takes Two.
Yeah, and I'm not supporting this game.
Oh no.
Yeah, that the person who made it, that the developer, he's annoying, and I I just do not like. I just not going to
Okay.
support. Crossroads will support it, and you guys should check out Crossroads. And I'm not supporting this at all.
Yeah.
I cannot give my money to him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing is I don't really know a whole lot of like who created it and stuff, but
He's the one that was at the Game Awards. He's like that
the one that was swearing and stuff.
yeah, and stuff, and he's just a noise. He did Ways Out, and think he did Brothers of Two Tails. I think that's his
Oh,
games. But
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that the one where you worked as the to get out of the way out. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I
So
figured
yeah.
that's what I was pretty sure that's the people, yeah, that were working
Mm,
on this because it's kind of the same idea. I do,
mm,
well, like the thing is though, if this is a game that you are interested in, I do like that they went again with the whole
two-player
only
thing.
one person, yeah, that only one person has to actually buy the game, and then you can share, I'm guessing probably a code or something,
Yeah.
and then you can play it with your friend for free. Your friend doesn't have to buy it as well.
If I
So,
have to play this game, I want to play it for review and someone send the code. I'm not supporting this at all. I'm sorry.
well, like I said, Ed, you could technically play it. If I get it, you don't have to buy it. You can still play it with me. You don't
I'll
have to
play.
spend anything on it.
I will play it. I will play it to help you. Other than that, nope.
All right. So yeah, it looked interesting. It looked like a really fun game. I like the whole like the voodoo doll, like that you're playing as like voodoo
Mm,
dolls kind of thing in it. But I've been noticing a lot of these games lately that are I don't want to say blatantly ripping off, but I mean just a lot of games that are taking a lot of things from Grounded and putting it into their games. Because like on the front cover of this game, they're literally they're uh, they're hanging on to a dead dandelion. Like when dandelions mature, they turn into just the big puffy thing of a whole bunch of the little seeds with the little parachutes on them. You know, you know what I'm talking about, Ed. When a dandelion it like just goes from being the yellow thing to just being the big white puff of the seeds that you can blow and they go flying everywhere. Yeah, well
mm,
they're on the cover of it. They're like both characters are holding on to one of those to float somewhere, and that's literally what you do in Grounded
yeah.
to like that's essentially your glider to get somewhere is one of those. And then like there's that one popular game recently that everyone's playing that's on PC only, that was it um Valheim or whatever it's called, or
Rahim.
Valheim.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that game has been bringing large like ants and stuff into it, and like making it like almost feel like like your small character and you're in a world where ants and insects are all bigger than you. Like, so there's a lot of that kind of stuff I've noticed going on in some of these new games coming out.
Yeah.
And that Grounded had been doing, for a while now. But I don't know. It's just kind of funny that I'm seeing a lot of that stuff all of a sudden just pop up in games after Grounded was doing it. But yes, and then the last thing that I just wanted to touch on, and we kind of had been hearing talks about for a while now, but
Mm,
it's pretty much been made official that Samsung's QLED becomes the official TV partner of Xbox Series X in the US and in Canada. So so basically, essentially, look forward to probably within the next year or so, seeing xCloud as an app on the newer Samsung TVs.
yeah.
So, I mean, I think they're gonna get them on a lot of them, Vizio and like whatever they can.
Yeah.
But it's Samsung just is officially, kind of teaming up with them, which they teamed up with Samsung to do the xCloud on phones and all that stuff anyways. So it makes sense, that they stick with Samsung. They've obviously got a good relationship going on. So yeah,
Yes.
and that basically will wrap up the show.
All right.
Those are just a couple little things that I wanted to get out there, but I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on. But so yeah, well, Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at that Retro Code. Check out Nintendo Pop Block on Mondays and for our live shows. And then our recorded audio versions go out on Wednesdays. And also check out Optional Opinion on SoundCloud and World 11 Podcast on Podbean.com. And then come join us on Discord, where we talk all the things next, all things Nintendo, PlayStation, and definitely Xbox. And yeah, follow us on our Arsenal X Twitter page. I think it's Arsenal at Arsenal X Podcast. I think that's our Twitter thing.
Yeah.
Come interact with us with there. We want to hear what you guys think about Xbox and everything. And I'm going to be trying to have some fun stuff with the Xbox community because I haven't been able to do that in a while. So I'm going to be trying to interact with more of the Xbox community. So yeah, come join us there on Twitter.
Yeah, and you can find me almost everywhere as Phantom NXS. And I just want to make sure to give some love to all the guys over there at Boss Rush Entertainment. Definitely go check out their shows and the stuff they're doing, because they put a lot of amazing content out there. And honestly, have been such a great addition to the family. And I definitely want to make sure that we're promoting them more often and getting the word out there, because they're doing a lot of great stuff. And I actually got a chance to finally make an appearance on LAN Party last week, and man, we had a blast. So definitely go check them out. And I think then this week's episode of LAN Party, I believe I should be on that. So go check all those guys out at Boss Rush Entertainment, because they put a lot of work in over there. They've got some amazing shows. So I listen to them every week even too, because I know that I'm gonna have a laugh for sure when I listen to those guys over there. So so go check them out. So all right, let's throw the X up. Because we're about to exit. You guys have a good day.
Bye, everybody.